Okay, so this is the day. I put it up on Twitter that I'll use iPhone for 30 days and this is the day. A hardcore Android users for the first time switches to an iPhone 13 as a daily driver for 30 days. In fact, more than 30 days. Now with that, this is Pratik. You're already watching TechWiser, and after watching this video, you will have an idea how an Android user will experience an iPhone, whether you should switch from Android to iPhone, plus a lot of you guys had Twitter questions. I'll keep on answering it in the video as it goes, and basically, your questions are the video. This review is for you. And if you like that, subscribe to Stay Wiser and get long-term reviews and hit the bell icon as well. So first up, how difficult it is to move from Android to iOS. Like, oh my god. Now you will know that transferring data from Android to iOS is a bit difficult, but the most difficult part is transferring your WhatsApp chats and data. Samsung recently brought the option to transfer WhatsApp chats from iPhone to Samsung, but from any Android phone to iPhone. This is so stupid, it shouldn't be there in the first place. But I have to straight up pay $1,600, $1,700 to apps to transfer my WhatsApp data. I use Dr. Phone to do it, and again, not sponsored. There are tons of apps on the Google Play Store. You can pay to whomever you trust the most. And FYI, Samsung lets you transfer WhatsApp data and chats from an iPhone to Samsung, but from Samsung to iPhone, no options. Number two, Truecaller doesn't work. Now, just like you guys, I receive a lot of spam calls and I don't like wasting my time on it. So Truecaller was a must-have, but it doesn't work on the iPhone. However, there's a workaround. When the first time you receive the call, you have to just copy and paste the number into Truecaller, and once it identifies the number, the next time when you receive call from that number, Truecaller will mark it as spam or whatever the name is. I know it's difficult, but that's the only workaround. Number three, call recording doesn't work on the iPhone. I know. Call recording is a really important feature for most of us in India, but there's no way to make call recording work natively on the iPhone. There are apps like Rev which support call recording. However, number one, you have to call on their number and then they will route the call to a different number. So that's how they call record. Number two, Rev is US only. So as of now, no call recording on iPhone. Number four, this could be personal, but Galaxy Watch 4 doesn't work on an iPhone. In fact, all Galaxy Watches starting from Galaxy Watch Active 2 don't work on an iPhone. I know this is just crazy. Like other Android Wear OS watches also don't work with an iPhone. Like they do work, but Google Assistant, navigation, Google Maps will still give you a problem. So if you use any other Android Wear OS watch with an iPhone, it will keep bothering you for the entire experience. That's why I have to give up and switch to an Honor Band 6. And this works perfectly with an iPhone, and all other fitness band as well as so-called smartwatches, they work with the iPhone. It is the way. It's like if you have an iPhone, you just have an iPhone. You have to buy an Apple Watch. Number five, I don't know how many people does this bother, but there's no haptic feedback on the Apple keyboard. Like I didn't knew this until I used an iPhone. Imagine Samsung doing that, and that would be a headline of an entire article. Anyways, you can install a third-party app like Gboard, and that does support haptic feedback on the iPhone. Now these are few starting challenges I faced moving from Android to iPhone. Every Android to iOS user will face these challenges. It has nothing to do with iPhone 13. So now let's talk about my iPhone 13 experience with what I liked and disliked about the iPhone 13. First up, I liked the small factor of the iPhone 13, like it's a 6.1-inch display, but if you compare to my previous phone, Note 2, it's still small. And of course, this all-around metal and glass back, it's good to hold in hand. Like I would say an iPhone in hand feels good. It's an iPhone, it feels good. And while many people like this square design, you can even make the phone stand, although it's scary. It's so boxy, but I prefer this curved design. Makes the phone easy to hold. If you put your finger below it, it's even convenient. Anyways, I've been using a case just like everyone out there, so it won't matter that much. Oh, life advice. Never ever buy a transparent cover. Look how it looks now. It's embarrassing and gross. But what can't be covered with a case is the display. And I believe I don't want to say this, but I have to say this. It's the best iPhone display out there. Apple made small tweaks to it. iPhone 13 still has the same 1080p OLED 60Hz display compared to iPhone 12, but the typical brightness of the iPhone 13 has been increased. Now, brightness is usually typical or peak Here, have a look. It's easy to understand this way. See, if I manually increase the brightness of both iPhone 12 and iPhone 13 side by side, the brightness on iPhone 13 is greater. This is typical brightness. It's 800 nits on iPhone 13, but when you walk outside in the sun or watch HDR content, that's peak display brightness, which is 1200 nits, same on both iPhone 12 and iPhone 13. And in case you're wondering, Netflix and both Amazon Prime support HDR on the iPhone 13. Now, the display is same as iPhone 12, but what has improved is the camera sensor. And a lot of you would be thinking how good it is. Well, for starters, the main sensor is really good. Like, the thing I love the most on iPhone is the camera. See, all these, the white balance and color tone are so consistent. Like, to give you an example, we didn't have a B cam for this TW Hindi video, so we used an iPhone, and it's very hard for anyone to identify whether it is a phone camera. But anyway, the point being here is the color is so consistent, you can easily rely on it and use it. Like, I took a lot of Diwali traveling photos on this, and they are good. So the larger sensor pulls in so much light. There are some HDR hit or miss here and there. I've seen it with the iPhone 13 only, but not major. The bigger sensor does help, but there are disadvantages to a bigger sensor as well. Minimum focusing distance. Like, here, I'll show you. Like, you see here, I'm not that close to the remote, but in iPhone 12, I can get more close and focus as well. Now, wide angle and selfie was a bit disappointing, not that sharp, doesn't let in more light at night because they are the same as iPhone 12. Now in Android, I used Vivo X70 Pro Plus, Vivo X70 Pro before. That definitely has a better overall camera than iPhone 13, or in fact, other flagship camera phones. Now, the battery is something which is talked about a lot in the iPhone 13. I know. Close to best battery life ever. So I usually got 5 to 6 hours of battery life until I hit 20%. And when I tried to push it to 0%, like when I had no charger or I was just out on Manu's birthday the whole night, you know, Murthal ke parathe, I could even stretch it to 8 hours. Crazy. And yes, charger. You don't get a charger inside the box, so that is something very tricky. I used a Motorola 30 watt PD charger, and for us who have so many charging adapters around, it's still hard to find a Type-C 20 watt adapter. Unless you have a MacBook and have a charger lying around, or you end up spending $1900 on Apple's shiny new 20 watt adapter, it's all good for you. The only thing I do feel is the lack of 90 or 120 Hz display. Like, if you just scroll through it, I can feel the difference. But the gesture on iOS is just so good and so polished. Like, in my more than month of usage, I didn't even have a single gesture glitch or anything. Like, I use YouTube Pip, and the way the video moves just every time makes me go, oh, that's smooth. So I kind of miss 90 to 120 Hz, but not that much. But what I do miss is apps. A lot of apps that I personally use daily don't exist on Apple App Store. Now, this is a personal use case. First up, CoinDCX Pro. The CoinDCX app on iPhone is just basic. They provide a Pro app on the Android, but not on iPhone. Next, another app is called Trust Wallet. Same. It has to do something with crypto, but the Android app is better. Then I used an app called Send Files to TV, which is a really good app that's let you send APK files from your phone to Android TV. The app doesn't exist, and I couldn't find a good alternative on Apple App Store. I use Sony Live to watch a lot of UFC fights, and it just doesn't go full screen. But yes, these are all personal apps that I use a lot, and I use it daily. No doubt, you also have some good paid apps like Darkroom, which is a fantastic photo editor, or Filmic Pro. It's a good pro manual camera app. These are obviously paid apps, and I didn't use them on Android. There are also some good free ones like Widgetsmith. But as I said, some of the apps that I use personally on Android didn't exist on the iPhone. Also, no app side loading unless you jailbreak. Another major question was, come on, you don't have to sell your kidney to buy iPhone, guys. There are new businesses in town. 21 din mein paisa double, if you know. And one thing that I found weird was bugs. Like, I didn't expect iOS to have bugs. Personally, I've always thought iOS was very polished above all, and that's the specialty of iOS. At times, see, when I pull down this universal search, the keyboard won't appear for a while. And there were also glitches when I was quick replying to a chat, but again, this might be due to me not using the Apple keyboard, but Gboard. There was also random app crashes with Twitter or apps not giving notifications. Like, see, if I open OLX, now there are notifications. I had to uninstall it and install it back again to somehow fix it. Now, will I continue using iPhone? Or more importantly, how easy is it to switch from Android to iPhone? See, it's like all in or nothing. If Apple says you have to use Apple password, you have to use the Apple keychain, Apple keyboard, iCloud, you have to use it. You cannot use third-party apps that will just keep bothering your experience the entire time. If you agree to use Apple apps, you'll probably have the best experience on any smartphone. And the more Apple stuff you keep on buying, the experience get better, like Apple Watch, Apple MacBook. Oh my. But like me, if you have to go back to Google Drive, keep notes, third-party apps or Android, using an iPhone is not that easy compared to an Android. So if you're buying an iPhone and plan to buy Mac or Apple Watch in the future, you will have the best experience. For me, okay Google, take me back.
Okay, will you ever leave me again?
No, not a chance. Or maybe until iPhone 14. Who knows? On that note, this is Pradeep signing off. See you pretty soon.